It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Oil Stream right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you. Matthew Iwanyk sliding into Dusty's usual spot. Dusty on his way to the West Final. CFL action this weekend. Bombers and Lions. And then you've got the Argos and Alouettes. And Dusty will be on the call for the Grey Cup in Hamilton on the radio side of things. Matthew,
Tommy.
always a pleasure. Today's been an interesting day.
This was fun
Yeah.
because I just said it to those that were watching on the previous show, we have no one else here.
Literally.
So to start the stream and to play the intro and all that, that's over on the computer behind our camera and all that, and there's no one to play it for us. So that's why I had to run off camera and come back in. And
I got you.
We're making it work.
Yeah.
We're making it work.
It's quiet in the EST studios today.
Is it quiet outside in Edmonton? Because Murray said it. Is it?
Like the drive-in today was quiet. Around this building, our office building, it's very quiet. I don't know if the people in the other businesses are even here. I'm assuming they are here.
I haven't really heard much
not
going on around here and all of that.
No.
You know what? Well, that's partly like, look, I know it's because the Oilers lost is part of this. The other part to this is the fact that it was an 8:30 game. Like, it was a late game yesterday.
Yeah.
If you stayed up to watch that in full, that's a late one.
That is a late one. I mean, a lot of people stayed up for the post-game show. We thank you for that. Wow. People got up early today to watch the Nielsen show, to listen to it. We appreciate that. Thank you for it as well. Shout out to VR Montenegro and his lovely wife, Ginger, who stopped by to pick up his GC.
He's
his
in the nasty
wife.
chat.
Already?
He's saying crickets, though. Why are you saying crickets?
Why crickets? Just, quiet out there.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
His wife stopped by to pick up his
Lovely
GC
lady.
for text of
well
the day.
done, VR Montenegro. She's a sweetheart. Very nice to chat with her. Your GC is on its way and secured.
She said some very kind words to us.
She did.
Which was very nice to hear.
And it was something uplifting for everybody's spirits here.
On a Friday.
On a Friday.
On a Friday where the Oilers are an utter disaster.
Yeah.
And we're coming to you live from the Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen studio. We're excited to bring back the Ghost Pepper Sandwich for a limited time. It has a spicy kick of ghost pepper mayo spread on their buttery brioche bun with juicy chicken breast and 2 crunchy pickles. That's only at Popeye's, which is eventually going to open up very soon down the road from here, which will be, blessing and a curse.
Well,
we won't
because
eat
we're gonna
anywhere
be there
else,
a
but
bunch.
we're going to just be always eating there and everything like that.
And you know what goes great with Popeye's Ghost Pepper Chicken Sandwich?
The 2 Hoots.
Some 2 Hoots
It was
iced tea on a Friday.
Well, it was a weird Friday.
It is
in that,
a weird Friday.
Like, look, the Oilers, they're a disaster.
Absolutely.
And we usually have Sobeys and Safeway Beer of the Week on the Friday. And
Yeah,
we
Scott was here
started,
on
we're doing the show, and we're like, well, we need something. And so we have the 2 Hoots box that we cracked open.
Fantastic.
Going into that.
Yeah.
We got to get into it now.
Let's
Like,
get into it. It's
You had an epic start to your post-game show yesterday.
yeah.
With a long 8-minute rant. Some people call it like your SNL cold open.
Damn.
Let's just go back to just, I guess let's just start with the game last night. And then we could work into everything else that is going on with this team. But
Sure.
what you saw yesterday from this team, or what you, I guess maybe better, what you didn't see from this team last night against the San Jose Sharks is, as you were very emphatic on the hangout today, they're the worst team in hockey. Not the last place team in hockey, but they are the worst team in hockey. What did you see yesterday?
Yes, they are the worst team in the National Hockey League right now. They're not last place because they played one less game than the San Jose Sharks. But after what we witnessed yesterday, they are the worst team in the NHL right now. I will reemphasize, if you didn't catch the post game last night, they shouldn't be. But here we are, November 10th, a dozen games into the season, and they have the least amount of points in the National Hockey League, tied with a San Jose Sharks club that was giving up, I think it was 4.5 goals per game on average. Scoring, I think the clip was 1.17 goals per game on average going into action last night. The Oilers were just over 2 goals, and the Oilers second worst on goals allowed per game, slightly less. I think it was like 0.2% less than the San Jose Sharks. What we did not see last night was a team with genuine, sincere fire, determination, angst, shame. They didn't have that. So they went out there. They went out there and they tried to take the game and do stuff. But and I'm going to use this term again, it was hollow. Much like this entire season, very hollow, thin skin. Once you broke through, there was nothing there. San Jose broke through, and there was nothing there. And I'll reiterate this from last night as well. At no point in that game last night, this is me, some might disagree, and that's totally fine. Not everybody sees this the same. At no point in that game last night did I think, boy, the Oilers are really threatening. Boy, the Oilers are really going to take over this game. They're going to go killer instinct, pedal to the metal, balls to the wall, 110%. All of those idioms, all of those cliches, all of those metaphors, I didn't see any of that. I saw a hollow effort, which goes hand in hand with a hollow performance, which is San Jose Sharks Club, which is inferior in talent, inferior in ability, puncture through and deflate the Oilers and basically control or comfortably end the night with a 3-2 victory. That's what I saw last night, or didn't see. And I know the Oilers outshot the San Jose Sharks 41-18. They had some good looks. Mackenzie Blackwood made a few saves. Not to the point where I would say they got goalied again. These guys aren't getting goalied by backups. They're taking bad shots. They're passing up grade A scoring opportunities in lanes. This keeps happening. It's not that they're getting unlucky because they're peppering goalies with 40 to 50 shots a night and they're just unlucky and these guys are making amazing saves on them. No, I know that, yes, the Oilers are a lethal team offensively. They have that rapport. They have two of the best offensive players in the game. What do they have? 300-point scorers last year.
Yep.
And I know that heightens the awareness of the opposition, but not to the point where they're 2-9-1. This is the saddest I've ever seen an Edmonton Oilers team in 17 seasons covering this team.
Okay, and that's where, so Calvin C says hard work beats talent. David Gibbons, yeah, they've just stopped working. That's in the nasty chat. This team, like last night was the game, really. I think you have the worst team in hockey at the time. Yep. The team that was last in the standings still is.
Yes.
You're going to that barn, who, yes, they were coming off their win against the Flyers, but still, they had lost 2 games by giving up 10 goals just a week ago and stuff, right? Like, they are not a good hockey team. You are in your struggles. You are having your problems. Your coach's job is kind of on the line right now. The reason I only say kind of is Ryan Rishaug saying his job's not, nothing's happening today or tomorrow, so his job is safe through that game. But he might have lost it yesterday.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're getting from this team. Why should anyone feel comfortable that they're going to have a care and put the hard work in? And it's not going to be just them playing hollow at any other point this season. Why should anyone feel confident this team's actually going to be able to turn that around and find it inside them to have the fire if they couldn't do it last night?
Yeah.
That's where I have the real concern about this season is that if there was a time to see this team put care, to show everyone, to to show themselves, to show Jay Woodcroft that they're going to turn this around. Daryl Cates even, just going to him saying, the team's here. We will get back to where we need to be. That's the game to do it.
Sure.
And we didn't see it. So I'll take the mindset that I don't think this team fully can turn it around this year as is.
If they do, it'll be a miracle. Why should people, as you asked, feel confident or even feel that they could turn around? They probably don't, nor should they. I'll reiterate what you said. That was the game. That was the game. That was the game you go out and you smack around an inferior opponent. You don't give them one sniff and you assert your dominance. That did not happen. At all. That's a reason why people should not have confidence that this group will turn it around. If this group turns it around by some miracle, it would be one of the most amazing stories fit for a Disney movie. It's not there. I've seen the term broken thrown around a little bit. I like that one. It's simple. Cuts right to the heart. This team is broken. Everything that they've tried doesn't work. Everything that they say rings hollow, doesn't work. Everything that they do, their actions, doesn't work. This team is broken, and last night sealed their fate. Last night was an hour and 15-minute eulogy on the 23-24 season. I don't want to be saying this. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. Up until last Friday, a week ago today, talking to Dustin Nielsen on this fine program, I said to him, I'm still being positive. Going into this Nashville afternoon matinee game, put on the blinders. Don't look at the Vegas Golden Knights. Don't look at those in front of you. Go win that game against the Nashville Predators, a team that the Oilers have dominated in recent years, a team that Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid have absolutely teed off and feasted on over the past couple of years, a team that a couple weeks prior, the Oilers went into their building and smacked around. One of the lone highlights of this season for the Orange and Blue. And I said, if they take care of business on Saturday, when we talk on Monday on this show, I'll be okay. It tees up a game. I guess they were going into what? The game against... After that was...
Vancouver
to start the road trip. They had no hope in that game against Nashville. Much like last night. Listless. They lost it. So I said, I'm done. I'm not being positive. I'm just being realistic. They go into Vancouver. They had a great 10 to 12 minutes. 19-4 of the shots on goal in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. They had a 1-0 lead. They're losing 2-1. Giving up 4 shots. Getting 19 of their own. And it ends up being a runaway night. For all the wrong reasons. And then we witnessed what we witnessed last night. The positivity's gone. Again, if they turn this around by some miracle, it's a Disney movie.
It would be some story.
Sure.
Oilers
Absolutely.
go right to the bottom and then work their way right to the top.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Well, the thing
Very
for that,
similar.
I guess it would be the St. Louis Blues that everyone's going to reference is that going into January, bottom of the NHL, turned it around. But the two things that happened, Jordan Binnington was called up,
Right.
and they got goaltending that year. And they made the coaching change too, did they not?
They did.
Burberry wasn't
Craig
the start
Berube.
he wasn't the start.
I think he took over from Mike Yeo.
Yeah,
if I
think
remember
so.
correctly.
So, they didn't just let things go completely. They had a couple of decent moves that helped turn those things around. Are you at all surprised that the Oilers? Now, I guess waivers. I didn't see anything. I don't think anything happened in waivers today. Are you surprised that the Oilers, after losing to this Sharks team, have really done nothing? That it's just go at it again tomorrow with the Kraken, defeated, disappointed, all of that, but try turn around once again with the same team. They skate, by the way, at 2:30 our time. 2:30 our time.
Yeah. I want to say yes, I'm surprised that they haven't done anything. But if you take a step back and you go, okay, well, why haven't they done something? Probably because the impulse is to do something. They need to do something, not denying that. Of course they need to do something. But I think they're trying to be methodical about this. And if they're going to do something big, and there's some rumblings and there was some discussion, we'll get to that in a little bit. If they're going to do something significant or that has a major effect on this group and this franchise, they don't want to do it on an impulse, and they want to make sure they thoroughly analyze what they're about to do if they are going down that road. That probably, you could throw a coaching change in there as well. So Schauger said, not today, not tomorrow, don't expect it. You could, the video last night of Woodcroft and Manson having a quick conversation as they walked off the ice in San Jose. I'm not a lip reader. I couldn't tell exactly what I picked up the yup from Manson.
That one is easy.
Yeah.
That one was easy.
But it's like, that's it, big boy, or something like that.
It was something along the lines of, that might be it. And
Yeah.
it was, yup. But I liked either Reed or Murray, I think, said, maybe they're saying, let's go for drinks, or somebody said
Oh,
that.
they had to fly right out.
Yup. But
Drinks in the room? Yep. When we landed in Seattle? Yep.
But we've all seen that story written enough
Yeah.
to know that team that had all these expectations to be at the bottom and to lose to a team at the bottom, that's usually a signal of some sort of change.
Yeah.
And that's just I know it doesn't help much on the ice. But even today, making some sort of announcement, even about Ken Holland, and I don't even say that they need to say he's fired, but we've transitioned away from, Jeff Jackson's going to be more involved, and he's an advisor now for the rest of the season or something like that, to at least give something to the fans even. I think that, to me, is where I'm surprised. Jack Campbell was not something for the fans to try to placate
That was the
fans.
appetizer.
That was the appetizer. That was I think Jamie McLennan was like that. That's the first of many moves that could come type thing. That was to try to maybe shock the room, I guess, and also have him work on his game down in Bakersfield, which didn't get off to a great start yesterday.
Oh, my goodness, no.
But now the fans, you're coming back home on Monday. What do you do if you lose it tomorrow? What do you do? The chances are they're going to lose tomorrow. Based on the season and the way they've played this year, the chances are the Oilers are going to go into Seattle tomorrow and lose. That's how the season has gone. And what do you do? I'm just surprised that after the game yesterday, there wasn't even just something for the fans to be like, we're working through this in some sense.
Yeah.
Because this is the same stuff that we've had for 3 weeks now.
Right. And that's why I think they're trying to take a deep breath and make the right move and not go off pure emotion and just start firing people without having the replacements in order and set up and in place. If sounds like, and when Jay Woodcroft coaches this game tomorrow night, maybe they have everything ready to go by Monday and they make the announcement and it's done cleanly, if you will.
They fired Tippett after a win, didn't they?
They certainly did. And
you're not doing that here.
I know the next question would be, well, what if they win tomorrow? I don't think it matters. I think the fate is sealed, and it's unfortunate. And
you think that no matter what, the coaching change is going to come?
I think that could be the case.
Because with Tippett, I was of the mindset a change had happened. He wasn't the right coach anymore for this team.
That was a surprise because they were hot going into the All-Star break that year.
Yeah.
And then they laid 2 eggs. I think it was Vegas and Chicago back-to-back nights at home. And then they fired him.
Yeah, that was what's there was a very poor December, January for them.
There was.
And that was the pissy comment that came out when things weren't going well. And I thought a change needed to happen, and then eventually I was just only surprised it came after a win, but a change was needed then. And I could see why Dave Tippett needed to go. Here it's a lot more difficult to say Jay Woodcroft does need to go. It's just one of those, this seems like the easy, simplest way to try to shock this team and get them going. But I feel like for him, I don't think you can fire him after a win. I think if he gets one win, I think you got to give him that next game, see if it can go into 2. And if it goes into 2, you got to give it, see if it goes into 3. And if he can rattle off a few straight, then all of a sudden maybe the ship has turned and you don't have to make that significant move. I don't think because this isn't all on him. This one, the issue of this team, we could go to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. For probably the first time in their careers with the Edmonton Oilers, we could put a conversation happening where we're putting criticism on them, and for the most part, I think people are accepting of it and understanding of it. That's how deep this goes, this issue. I don't think you can fire Jay after a win, potentially.
I
think that'd be a
disagree.
different
I think,
one.
I think it's fait accompli, as one says.
So now it's just
I'm not happy about it.
Getting that next coach in, making sure they're ready to go. And well, I'll say that if it does happen, I'm intrigued how much happens. Jay, Dave Manson, Schwartz, Gullet, like how many of those guys are part of a move that would come?
Again,
or how much of a staff do you need to keep? And maybe this is why there's a delay, is that if I'm just going to throw a name out there, Garth Gallant, if you're having him come in and you're saying, though, we're going to get rid of Jay Woodcroft, Dave Manson, and Dustin Schwartz, well, you got to replace all those guys, too.
Exactly.
You can't just go one guy and then if you're replacing all those other ones, too, and who's going to be the new goalie coach, and maybe that's the pause?
It very well could be. It very well could be.
Just a disaster. Just a disaster.
It is. It is an absolute abomination. Train wreck of a season. We would joke in 2012 to 2015 that the season was over by November.
It isn't a joke. It was a fact.
And it was legit. But those teams you would look at, and I make the joke on the Hangout about there was an obscure Finn on the team every one of those years that they signed that they thought would be a relevant NHL player that never was. Great guys, though. And those rosters you could look at and be like, damn, that's a bad team. This roster, you look at like good player, superstar, star, good player, up and coming first rounder. Lots of upside with that guy. Star, boom. You could maybe point out like 2 or 3 guys on the roster who are like, well, not sure about him, but that's the best they've got at that position. Goaltending, big question mark.
Compare the 2 lineups from yesterday.
Oh, my.
Like, right? Like, just look at the 2 and go,
Sure.
Who would you rather have? Like, which team would you rather be going forward with? And it would be very simple, and the answer is not even close. But who won?
Let's just go through the Sharks lineup for S&Gs. Humor me.
Before we do that, portions of this hour brought to you by Boston Pizza. Watch the Oilers at Boston Pizza. $5 off medium pizzas. $1 off tankards of Canadian Coors Light. 550 shots of Fireball, Jagger, Burt Reynolds, Purple Rain, and Honey Jack. That's all at BP's. Go catch the Oiler game there tomorrow.
Tomas Hertl, Anthony Duclair. Good players. Fabian Zetterlund.
Yeah, but how many teams has Duclair already been on?
Like 9. I'm being facetious. He's been on a bunch, though. William Eklund, Philip Zadina, Jacob McDonald, Luke Kunin, Kevin LeBanc, Mario Ferraro, Mikhail Granlund, Ty Emberson, Matt Benning injured, Nikolai Nyshkov, Mike Hoffman, Nikita Okuchuk, Ryan Carpenter, Alexander Barabanov injured, Mark Edward Vlasic old, Giovanni Smith, Kyle Burrows, Jan Ruda, and Nico Sturm. How many of those guys do you want on your team?
And the Oilers share company with them at the bottom of the standings.
Nico Sturm picked up his first point last night, by the way.
That happens against the Oilers a lot. First points or goals. What else? Former Oilers always do well against this team. There's a few. Slump buster or enders. If you're a player that has a little cold streak, take on the Edmonton Oilers historically, and things go well. But no, it's like that's the weird. They're good on paper. There should be a really, even if they're just sitting 15th, 16th in the NHL. It'd be a little disappointing, but okay, like at least now you could go and maybe that's okay, well, you don't have Klim Kostin or Yamamoto or Bukestad on the team, and that's why instead of being 5th, you're 15th or whatever it might be. But even
that would be a stretch.
But this team, the Oilers roster being 31st with the potential of dropping to 32nd still, is and this far into the season. Gord said in the Nasty Chat, it's 14.63% of the season's complete.
Yeah.
So we're at 15% basically the season is over. And this is where and Reed Wilkins of 630 Chat on the Hangout today, he was pointing out very well that because of this hole that they've dug themselves, it's a lot to overcome.
Yeah.
Like you go rattle off 5 wins in a row. That's great. You've got your 10 points. but it's not going to move the needle that much in terms of climbing necessarily. Yeah, you might go from 31st to 25th or something, but getting into that playoff, like right now with the Pacific Division, I don't know if the Oilers could catch anyone for one of the Pacific Division playoff spots, those top 3. I think you're looking at wild card for this team based on how big of a hill they're going to have to climb. Right now, Vegas has 23 points. Canucks have 21 points. Kings have 19 points. The Oilers have 5 points.
They have had stretches where they've gotten hot in recent years. They've had moments where they've stumbled in recent years. There were stretches, I think last year they had 3 wins in a 10-game stretch at one point, 3-7, something like that. And they bounced back. Now, you've put yourself behind the 8 ball so early in the year that I think it creates mental barriers and mental hurdles that are so hard to overcome. I'm not saying they can't be overcome, but I think it just piles on a group's collective mindset. They've shown us this year, collectively, their mindset, psyche, whatever you want to call it, is generally weak. They don't have the mental fortitude to overcome small obstacles this year. So you look at that, and you're out of the gates, you completely fall, trip, stumble, scrape your knees, and you can't even get crawling again because you're still falling and tumbling. That's where we're at. I don't think you overcome that like you would when you go in a slump mid-season. You've buried yourself with no ladder, basically. I don't want to be saying this. I don't want to be saying this. I don't like negativity.
And not a lot of teams are going to be willing to throw you a ladder.
No, nobody.
Right? Like,
they want to bury you even further. They hate the Oilers. The Oilers are an easy team to dislike. Teams within the National Hockey League mock the Oilers for being whiners and complainers on the ice. They get calls because when you're the best, people don't like you, and they don't want to give you a bone here and there. On top of that, Oilers fans, loud, proud, in your face, they want a winner. And when the Oilers stumble, fall, and continue to tumble like they do, and we see it, I'll take our show post-game, for example. Fans from other markets go, the Oil Stream post-game show. Boy, the Oilers really took a big dump in their bed today. And guess what they do? Because Oilers fans are so loud and they love their team and they have the passion, they get fired up, they protect their team, defend it. That gets other people riled up from other markets and other fan bases, and they come in and they start pushing buttons. That's what happens when you have the passion that is oil country. There's 2 markets right now in the NHL that are like that, okay? Edmonton and Toronto. Why do you think Paul Bissonnette picks the Toronto Maple Leafs to be his team that he rides and dies with? Why do you think former Oiler, who was miserable when he was here, Ryan Whitney, is back on the bandwagon with his old team? Because it gets you clicks. It gets you numbers. It fires up those fan bases. Always. And there's nothing wrong with that because the fan bases in Edmonton and Toronto love their team. Okay? That's great. But that's why you get that outside no love. Nobody's throwing you a bone. People want to come at you.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was talking to Huss quickly before we got them on set for the lock shop, and he says he jumped on to your postgame last night.
I saw that.
And in the nasty chat, he was seeing a bunch of WS tears in there. Like a bunch of Winnipeg sports soccer regulars were in there chatting up and tuning in. And there's the 2 types of people that will come in. There's the one, everything you said, and then there's the others that are just curious.
Sure.
Because, like, honestly, the Oilers are the story of hockey right now.
Absolutely.
There's of all the 32 teams, the biggest story in hockey is just how poor the Edmonton Oilers are.
Yeah.
And how brutal they've been playing and the spot that they are in. When they were here's the moral of the story, I think. Never, ever again predict the Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup. Because that happened after 16, 17.
Yeah.
They bottomed out, and now it happened going into this year, and they're bottoming out. Never again predict the Oilers are going to win. Maybe predict them to get to the conference finals, but never predict them to win the Cup again, know how good they are. Even if they go on and win the Cup this year. Don't predict them to win it next year because they're going to have a bad year. Straight up.
That's funny. And I'll add this too with the Oilers fans and Toronto fans being so crazy about their teams. And it comes back to us in our shows because we're talking about them daily. It's why we love to do this. But why do you think every time a big name is floating around there, Dregs, CJ, Freege, all those guys mention, well, the Oilers might be interested? Because it gets Oiler fans riled up, and they go, well, maybe so-and-so said it, so-and-so said it. And yes, Kenny Holland calls all the time. And then we get those texts and those calls and people going, Tom, so-and-so said this. And it's like, hey, man, I know they did. There's not a lot there.
Okay, but I will say this also, though. Without even having those guys say things, I don't know how many times in my time at 1260 did I see a waiver wire report come out and immediately get the text, blanks on waivers. Think there's a fit for Edmonton?
Yes, I
and
know.
Every single player that goes on waivers is apparently a fit for the Edmonton Oilers, and should the Oilers claim him? And it's like, nope. I know. Nope. Maybe. Nope. Like, it was, so it's not even... Even Oiler fans, of that, every player that's available, they try to connect the Oilers to them.
It's part of the fun. It's why I love doing this and covering this team, but it's also why you get good numbers anytime you mention the Oilers or the Leafs.
Tom Gazzola, Matt Iwanyk with you here on the Oil Stream. A couple of texts I want to get to. Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Road Dog Trev saying, nothing against Warren Fogle, but when he's your best player over an 11-game span, then your team is in a lot of trouble.
Nailed it. Absolutely. Road Dog Trev with that one?
Yes.
Nailed it.
Oh, I think I lost the text I was going.
Which one?
I was going to go to. Oh, Freezer Bag saying, I'd take anyone who goes to the net for this team. Then this text from Ponger. Oh, man, these players do not deserve the cup, especially if they have to fire Woody to do it. They want success, want to be the big dogs, but can't take the heat. I guess that's another lesson to be learned, how to be the top team that everyone guns for, how to have a killer instinct, but they've forgotten the lessons from the past. And so here we are, sad that coming in from Ponger again. Yeah. It was Jack Cookson on the Hangout a few weeks ago mentioned the Oilers, they get everyone's fastball.
Yes, I love that term.
You're not surprising anyone when you come into your bar, which is also surprising when you look at the Oilers' games of these past little while. They do get everyone's fastball, but a lot of teams have put the backup against them.
And they beaten them.
And they haven't been able to beat those backups. And that's usually you get the backup one. That's also, you could always look at it and be like, well, they don't think too much of you. But also, those teams then think they could beat the Oilers with a backup right now, and they're doing it. And that's like the Oilers, with the talent they have and the guns that they have, they should be lighting up some of those backups. Yeah, you're not going to win every game. Yeah, you're going to have some games you're going to have lost of some of those.
Sure.
But the amount of backups that they've gone and haven't been able to take advantage of those situations is quite stunning.
And that, I think, also speaks to the mental fortitude of this group, that you're getting the high, hard one. The heat's coming in. And instead of being like, oh, yeah, I'm going to smash that thing 450 feet out of the yard onto the street across from the ballpark, to use the baseball term Jack Cookson so eloquently gave us a few weeks ago, they're cowering away. They're turning and hitting the dirt. That is scary. That is alarming. I think one's natural instinct is to be, oh, yeah, you're coming after me. I'm going to show it. I'm going to shove it down your throat and show you. They don't do that. They haven't done that. They talked a big game. And I give them credit. I liked the vibe in the room. I liked what I was hearing from the guys. On the record and off the record, talking to them day in, day out, throughout training camp, into the preseason, even at the start of the year when they were losing those first couple of games. And before we started going, uh-oh, this is messed up. Before that, I was like, yeah, these guys have it. This is similar to what we had at the end of the year down the stretch. Good vibe. They've got it. They know how to deal with this. I was completely reading that wrong. They forgot the lessons of the past. They don't use the knowledge that they accrued and experience that they gained. They're a shell of themselves from the spring. They're hot dogging it, and they have no reason to hot dog it. They're better than what their record shows. They haven't played like it, and they deserve all of the negativity that they're getting right now because they've earned that.
This text coming in from Carmen, which will transition nicely into our next conversation. Guys, what is the next step now? Who takes the axe first? Please tell me it's Holland. Friedman also said Oilers were close to a big move on Wednesday. That was from today in his 32 Thoughts podcast. He also said the Oilers are waiting for management to do something. That coming in from Carmen. Are you hearing anything about when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers and what they might be doing? And beyond, like the Jay Woodcroft, beyond that, is there anything else that you know or you think that this team is looking at?
Okay, so a couple of things. Someone texted me during the hangout and said, hey, keep an eye on this. Sniff around where you can, and it was something out of the Eastern Conference that they were working on. I think, what Elliot was alluding to, that's probably it. And then when I, try to dig in a little bit, I was just told right now it's quiet, especially on the coaching front. Ideas are being batted around right now. Nothing imminent is what I was told. Could that change? Yes. But that was as of 40 minutes ago before we went on air. It could change. They're obviously working the phones.
Well, it sounds like everyone, it's a goalie. The phones are being worked on getting a goalie for this team.
Get something. Get something.
Like, they need a goalie.
Yes, they do.
But what pieces are they going to give up?
I don't know.
That's the other part to this is that what piece are you going to give up to make this work where then what other holes are going to open up?
I could see them trying to get rid of Evan Bouchard. That's me. This is me just saying that. Like, I could see them being like, all right, this isn't working. We don't like it long term. We don't need to sign. Figure it out. I don't know. Ben Gleason. At this point, people saying Ben Gleason, I don't even think that's absurd anymore. You know why? Because it's that bad.
Well, I think he deserves a shot.
So if you do create a hole by trading a Bouchard, this is a hypothetical, okay? If you do create that hole and you call up an older AHL guy in Ben Gleason, what's there to lose at this point? You know what you have in Bouchard. This is the third straight year where he's kind of done this. Not great to start a year. Gets better as the season progresses. Needs a veteran guy to help guide him along and hold his hand. When is he turning the corner? He's just about to hit the 200-game mark. Do you cut bait now, or do you risk it, keep him, and then if he starts to pound pucks on net, get goals, pick up those points, if power play 1 wakes up again, it probably will, then you have to pay him. But you're taking that risk going, well, which Bouchard's showing up tonight? Because for 12 games, it's been the bad Evan Bouchard.
Just looking at the Oilers, guys who don't have no trade clause or no move clause. Got Warren Fogle, Ryan McLeod, Matthias Janmark, Dylan Holloway, Derek Ryan, Raphael Lavoie, James Hamblin, Connor Brown, Sam Gagner, Matthias Ekholm, Evan Bouchard, Cody Ceci, Brett Kulak, Vincent Desharnais, and the goalies.
Yeah.
Is there okay. If you're the Oilers, I don't know who, because I don't know who's making the trades and who's in charge.
Sounds like it's Kenny, short leash. Short leash.
Okay, well then I'm going to have to go even. Then this is, if you're Jeff Jackson, are you allowing the first-round pick to be moved? Like, I think the only...
well, you might get a first overall pick at this point.
Well, that's my... So
right.
That's... I guess the only way I think you can afford as an organization to potentially trade that away is if you put lottery protection around it, which then does decrease the value.
Totally decreases.
Where you say, if it's top 5 or top 3 or even top 2 or whatever, we keep it, you get the next year pick or something.
Yeah.
But, like, all year, I think we all felt that first-round pick's going to be moved again. But I don't think you can at this moment. Because I don't think you can afford to potentially miss out. Like, I don't know where this season's going to go now. And you don't want to be giving away a trade that all of a sudden you're giving up for a second and a third or whatever.
A la Phil
overall
Kessel,
pick.
Toronto Maple Leafs getting Phil.
Which is completely
Boston
insane to be thinking
Tyler
that
Seguin.
we're saying right now on November 10th of this season.
It's ridiculous. But it's the reality.
I'm intrigued. What Oilers fan? What do you think? Like, should the Oilers move their first round pick just outright? This, even if that helps you get a goalie right now, I guess. Are you comfortable moving that first round pick if it's part of a play to get a goalie for this season? I don't know a goalie that's going to be necessarily. But are you moving that first without the lottery protection?
I wouldn't do it, but that's just my instinct. And I'm very conservative when it comes to that.
I think as you look, because even if you don't want, like, if you're not going to use that, but, like, I think there's maybe a little more value to have it going into a draft to make a move to fix this roster in an offseason if you had to. And that's where I think with how bad this season has gone for the Oilers, I think they might have actually lost a bargaining chip for moves right now by losing that first. Or you're taking a real risk that if this season doesn't go well and doesn't continue to go well, you just gave up a high first.
It's so absurd right now. Unimaginable.
Do you recall a time where a team was supposed to be this good in any sport almost and ended up being this bad? Like, we've seen teams go into seasons where they have high expectations, champions aspirations, cup bust, whatever that, all that stuff. But yeah, they might miss the playoffs or they might not go as far as you'd expect. But to become this bad, I can't recall one right off the top of my head immediately. I'm sure someone's going to text us.
Coach Mike texted in. He said the Oilers started 90-91, 2-11-2, got to the conference final that year. Also,
which year?
90-91. So that was Messier's last year.
Yeah, I was about to say, okay, they had, I was just trying to think of their roster.
They still had a good roster.
Yeah. Well, they would have been defending Cup champs, were they not?
Yeah, and I think they went to the conference final again the next season.
I could tell you what happened then. I was born in 91, and the Oilers have never won a cup since, so.
Ooh. You've never been alive for an Oilers
Stanley Cup? I have never been alive for an Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup. It's one of the reasons I wanted the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to never win a Grey Cup, because until they won in 19, they never won a Grey Cup in my time, and I really enjoyed that. But now that's gone. But yeah, like, I don't know of a team that I could sit here and say that has been this poor. Bone saying the 2016 Colorado Avalanche. Yeah, I guess, because they had a great year the year before with Patrick Waugh.
That's right. It fell apart.
And that was a historically bad season. Was it odd? And they got Cale Makar.
Yeah.
And that then that goes to me that why you don't trade that first.
This text says, only way I trade the first unprotected is if they take Nurse's contract.
Yeah.
Taco.
Yeah.
Taco chimes in. Text line. I would gladly trade our first for a solid goalie. This is a no-brainer in my mind. The big question is, who will trade a solid goalie for a first?
And that's the point, I guess, maybe. Like, what goalie can you go get that is out there? And I guess that's maybe the list that you have to look at. And yeah, maybe that changes everything about whether you would trade the first or not. And yeah, if you're getting a UC Saros, which doesn't sound like Nashville has any interest at all moving.
They're not going with Kevin Lankinen.
But yeah, I guess with that one, you'd probably be more likely to give up a first, because then you're thinking, yeah, you will get out of the draft lottery.
People were saying like Swayman out of Boston or Ullmark. I don't think that's happening. I think Boston needs those two to work in tandem to get them to the promised land. This is a pickle.
You know what the Oilers might need?
Tell me.
They might need a cast scramble tournament to work some things out. Head to One Putt. As they're hosting the 4-man cast scramble tournament starting November 15th, so coming up in right away here for a month till December 15th, using the TrackMan technology, $400 per team, and it includes 9 hours of golf, 4.5 hours each round, and your team can play at any day and any time that fits your schedule. One Putt, they're guaranteed a $1,000 prize pool, regardless of the number of entrants. You have to sign up by Sunday, November 12th. And you pay only $360 for your team. If you want more info, oneputt.ca/scramble, or follow them at OnePuttYag on Instagram. That's one with the digit 1, PuttYag, YEG on Instagram for more details. One Putt Virtual Golf, North Edmonton. It's a place you're going to want to be this winter to get your swing going. And yeah, like maybe the Oilers just need straight up a nice day of golf to get things going, loosen things up.
They had a day in San Francisco. I mean.
Yeah, what are you doing? But
that's a great city. It's fun. Although, yes, COVID and there's issues downtown, all that. That's for sure. But historic and all that. It's a fun city.
It's a nice, relaxing vibe and things like that. But I don't know. Is there a lot for them to?
I don't know.
I don't know about the
team.
They
find fun.
There's no One Putt, and there's no 4-man cast scramble tournament. They should just put a bunch of teams in and go do that. Go play the free arcade. Maybe they just need a little fun time. Team building, team bonding. And that's going to turn this season around.
Carmen says, guys, where's Dusty? Is he too hungover today? No, Dusty's on his way
Dusty
to
be
the
hungover?
West Final in the CFL, which will see the Bombers welcome the BC Lions.
That's going to be a
Catch that
great game.
on TSN.
Actually, here's your slate for tomorrow. If you're into a bunch of these, I got to pull up
Do tell.
a schedule. 10 a.m., Michigan taking on Penn State. Two, I think, top 10 ranked teams in college football. You got that going in the morning, 10 o'clock.
All right, yeah.
1 o'clock or 1:30, somewhere around there. You've got the... Sorry, I just got to quickly change this to see if I can change it to the top 25. You've got CFL East Final.
Yes.
Argos Owls. 2 o'clock, CanadaWest.tv or on TELUS pay-per-view. Golden Bears taking on the Thunderbirds for Canada West supremacy.
Yes.
4:30, Dusty, Glenn Suter. They're calling you the West Final in the CFL, Bombers and the Lions. You got the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Kraken tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, which means 6:30. Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and YouTube Trev right here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well as our YouTube channel, as though you guys will get everyone set for that game.
Oh, we will.
And then also mixed in tomorrow, if you're looking at the college football way, Utah number 18 taking 5 Washington at 1:30. That's over on Fox. 14-13 between Missouri, Tennessee. Missouri 14-13 Tennessee. 1:30 on CBS. At 5 o'clock, you got Georgia Ole Miss 2 taking on 9. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. I thought I saw Penn State. Oh, Penn State's 10. And then later in the night, you got USC taking on Oregon on Fox. It's a day to be on the couch.
It's a smorgasbord of sports.
It's unbelievable. And I didn't get into
Lots of
soccer
great
talk with
football.
that. I didn't get into a single soccer talk with any of that. So you get this great day of sports, and then you get to watch an Oiler game at night and either be miserable or be excited because the Oilers are going to turn things around.
Yes.
There's no one win doesn't calm the waters in any way, shape, or form. with
How
this team.
could it?
If they put up a 6-0 win against the Kraken tomorrow night,
That's great.
people aren't happy still. They'll be happy
nor
for
should
that
they be.
one win, obviously.
But that's great.
But
Say they win that game tomorrow. Fantastic. Now follow it up on Monday against the Islanders. You do that? Oh, okay. Back-to-back wins. First time all year. Now what happens the next game? If they win, oh, maybe we're onto something here. Got to get that first one tomorrow. They're in a terrible place right now with everything that they have not done this year. And that's play well. Play hard. Be a tough team to play against. It hasn't been there at all. But yes, you're right. If they do that, then they start to get people's attention for the right reasons. Get that first one.
But what they need is the first back-to-back win.
Right.
They haven't done that this year. That's the part of this, too, is that they haven't strung 2 wins together in a row. And
San
that's,
Jose
I think,
has.
the big one.
San Jose has.
They have.
They just did.
I'm going to guess most teams in the National Hockey League have this
Probably.
season. That's the thing that you would want to see from this team is at the very least, which is such a sad thing to say at the very least, but can you get 2 wins back-to-back? And that's the tall order they haven't been able to do. In the Nasty Chat, D. White saying, when does the Nasty Club get their hats? Want to wear the Oiler game for some free advertising. For anyone who has joined up to the Nasty Club, the order has been placed. We're just waiting for the merchandise. It should come in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So the week of the 20th or the week of the 27th, I hopefully should have it all in possession and I could build out all the packages and I'll be in touch with everyone in regards to you could come pick it up here at the office or we'll be shipping it out at that point. Next week, I'll be in touch with all of you Nasty Club members in actually making your official selection of whether you're going to come pick it up or to pay for the shipping of that. But this month, it will be coming. Like I said, the order is in. I am waiting for it. Once it comes, I will have everything else ready to go that I'll be able to be like, come on down, or it's in the mail, it's on its way, and you'll be able to wear that hat very, very soon to an Edmonton Oiler game. And speaking of merch, if you are looking for merch and you're not part of the Nasty Club, you could buy some EST merch. Tommy's got the hoodie on. I've got the hat going right now. Our pop-up store is open until Wednesday, which is the 15th. Head to EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Go to the very top. It says EST Shop. Get in there. Place your order. the 15th, we'll put our order in with our official merch partner, the Hive Product Marketing, products that bring the buzz, thehiveproductmarketing.com. And then they will get that order in for us. We should get it all on December 15th or before December 15th and be able to ship that all out to everyone. So you will have it before Christmas. So the Nasty Club members, you're going to get it by the end of this month. Worst case, it's going to sprinkle in the first couple of days of December, I would think. It's all supply chain, I guess, that we'll be waiting for. That good old supply chain. For everyone else, you should get it before Christmas. But you have to order before or on November 15th, or you won't get it until we do some more stuff in the new year. And Roy Keane in the Nasty Chat saying, when is the 6 o'clock lager available? Speaking of that, YouTube Trev and Eric went down today as they're filling the cans up, and I think
they have. Yeah, they're doing like I think maybe they get to taste it too.
No, Dusty I think was pretty firm a little today. Well,
no
not
tasting.
Firm. Well, we should all be doing it together, should we not? I don't know.
The label looks great.
With like when we do beer of the week or something like.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
I
phenomenal.
think YouTube Trev's going to try to sneak one in though.
He should try to sneak one in. Maybe they get one without and be like, don't say anything to anybody. There is a little teaser Lieutenant Eric and YouTube Trev did. I think did we put it on our EST?
Did they already do it?
Instagram. I saw.
I haven't seen
Eric
it. I haven't been on my
one
phone
of the cans.
at all.
It looks cool
Today, so I'll have to go look that up. But so when is that going to be
November
available?
29th.
Is our party?
When's the beer launch?
And then it should come out like right after there.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how it's going to go. Based on everything I've gathered, is that maybe on the 24th we might have as part of the beer of the week for us to taste.
That's amazing.
Which is the day that we're also doing the draft and the watch party and all of that.
Oh, right.
And then the 29th is the big party of us all going to taste, and then it's going to be available. So also by the end of this month, first couple days of December, the 6 o'clock lager will be available for you to purchase at Sobeys and Safeway liquor stores across town, across the province a little bit, I think. I think there's a couple stores.
Sprinkled?
Well, I think there's been people mentioning, like saying, I'm in Lloyd, can I get it? And I think Scott has been going, we'll try to get it out there or something. So
Scott's the man.
A few places.
Old Redbeard. He's amazing.
He's out of Mexico right now.
I know, lucky. Just around Cancun. So despite all the gloom and doom, there's good things happening.
What's good things? Oh, with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got good things.
Yeah, we're trying to keep the cheer positive.
Well, here's the thing. Now, Cool Bet. If you're ever betting the Oilers, go to Cool Bet. Edmonton Sports Talk Parlay is now officially up, by the way. And it does relate to the Edmonton Oilers. We have the Oilers have ruined our parlay a couple weeks in a row here.
No, really?
But we're going back to the well.
Uh-oh.
It's the Edmonton Parlay once again. The Edmonton Sports Talk Parlay. We're sticking on Edmonton. We've got the Golden Bears winning tomorrow in the Hardy Cup. We also got the Oilers winning, both to win at plus 250. Head to CoolBet. Click exclusives. Our parlay's right there. The Lock Shop Parlay's also up. Ride with Huss. Ride with Patty. And they got a hockey parlay and a football partner parlay. So that's all up right now at CoolBet. They boost their stuff. It's very nice.
I know.
The boys at Cool Bet, they treat us extremely well. Actually, before we finish up and finish with the Oilers a little bit here, Golden Bears, still the favorite on Cool Bet. I can't believe it. They've lost twice to UBC. They're going out there, but they are the favorite. That's go Bears, go Chris Morris, Matthew Peterson, run all over.
Yeah,
that Thunderbirds defense.
I've got some nasty chats.
I'm
laughing because this is good. I love the nasty chat. It's this unexpected blessing and curse, if you will, that we've discovered since we've created EST. Jason says, Tom, it looks like whenever the Oilers are brought up, you're having flashbacks. Well, I've seen some shit. Thank you, Jason. Terry Wong says, so it's an effort problem. Yeah, it's just there's no jam there, Terry. Jenna says, I always forget it's Remembrance Day. So ironic. Yes, tomorrow Remembrance Day. We'll have a moment tomorrow during Hello Hockey.
Yeah, at 11 o'clock.
To commemorate. Yes.
We'll absolutely do that.
Take
a pause.
John Ross says, I just got here for the Wake Go Jets Go. John, that was last night on the post-game show. You can catch that if you want. I said my piece for the first 5 or 6 minutes or even longer. I can't remember.
I heard it was 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Yeah. I
have to go still listen to it.
I had a lot of things to say about those people in orange and blue. And then there was more people that you Googleized, as one Derek Zoolander would say. There was a lot of that. Cass was at a loss. YouTube Trev was a mess.
I love the picture you had of YouTube.
Oh, I had to do it. I said I'm
was
sorry.
that like that wasn't staged? That was
No.
what he like.
No, I'm like the poor kid. And he's like, Tommy, I've been working because YouTube Trav's a younger guy, just had his 25th birthday, from Pincher Creek. Was an Oilers fan, grew up around Flames fans in his family, took heat being an Oilers fan, and now he's on the media side with us. And I said, you can't say we, man. You're not on the team. You're not on the team. It's a courtesy and a professionalism. Although Iwanyk does it with his 47 teams. I've
got a big game tomorrow, Manchester United.
Yeah.
We're taking on,
Yeah.
are we taking on Luton Town?
I don't know if
got
you
Luton
guys
Town.
are. Well, I hope you have a good game and play well. So anyway, beside the point. But so Trev still is a fan of the team, and that's more than okay. It's just when we're on the air, I say, leave out the wheeze. It's all good, buddy. You can have emotion. Hernan Salas, Latino Heat, loves his teams, has passion, always brought it. Didn't say we, though.
You're on media. You shouldn't say we.
Exactly.
I do. In jest, with the other teams, it is in jest. It's not a we. We don't play for the team.
Yes.
For media.
So Trev is sitting on the couch. They're down 3-2. And he tucks his head into his hands. And I'm like, oh, what is going on? Like, I can tell he's rattled. And he's like talking to himself. And I'm like, I'm going to just snap a couple of pictures. Let's see what happens. And a minute turns to 2 minutes, and I was like, are you okay? He goes, yeah, I was just saying a little prayer. For what? Like something wrong? He goes, no, I just want them to come back. I'm like, well, yeah, I don't like their chances. Maybe there is some divine intervention here, but, I acknowledge and respect that you prayed for them. They're going to need more than prayer. And then I was like, by the way, I took a couple of photos, and I may have tweeted. Is that okay? After, don't ask. It's better to beg for forgiveness.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I did that a lot
Yeah.
at 1260 with various things.
Yeah. And he looked at it, he's like, that's okay.
He had bigger problems.
He had bigger problems.
He was dealing with the Oilers losing.
Yeah, and he was watching him work the control panel back there. Just a mess. But he handled it very well. Kudos to him. A veteran move yesterday. Gave the Damon Bunting Remax Elite Player of the Game Award to the Oilers fans and to those who listened and watched last night. Said no player deserved it, but those who stuck with us for the show got the award. And well played, Trev.
Do the Oilers win tomorrow?
No, they don't.
It's hard to say anything
They
different.
don't.
It's hard to, until they show differently, it's hard to bet on the Edmonton Oilers. And that's it for the Oil Stream for this Friday. Tom Gazzola, you are back tomorrow at 10 with Hello Hockey. You and Sean Bell. You are back tomorrow at 6:30 with the Oil Stream pregame show. You'll have the postgame show immediately following as well. We've got a lot of other content for you this weekend as well, including Raceline Radio, the Pipeline Show tomorrow. Tonight we've got MCTV and the Elks call. So we've got lots coming up here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and if you're listening on TuneIn and our audio stream, like I said, live programming, a lot with you tomorrow.
Speaking of MCTV, congratulations, Mark Majot and his lovely wife on the birth of their daughter.
Yes, yesterday I believe
Anderson, a.k.a. Andy Majot.
Majot, on behalf of everyone at Edmonton Sports Talk, we're happy for you and Mackenzie. All the best. Glad mom and kid are doing extremely well and are healthy.
Yeah.
And can't wait to meet her. I'm Matt Iwanyk. He's Tom Gazzola.
Cheers.
There to take us away. Close this off for us.
Like, share, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button. We thank you over and over again because without you, we can't do this. Let's do it all over again tomorrow. Enjoy your Friday, everyone. Ciao for now. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, boy.